if you are like, let me turn on the light. Maybe, I don't know why this looks like this, but let's just imagine that I'm in the mist of Avalon, the mist of the veil. I'm in the veil that leads you into the goddess community, the community of goddesses. This is Tyrone Milade. How are you all doing? I'm so happy to have you all here. And yeah, this is my live video for April 21st, 2022. How are you all doing out there? I won't be long. I always say that we'll see. But what I wanted to do is come on, first of all, and remind y'all two things. This weekend, I'm a part of the Cauldron of Wisdom. It is a virtual conference, 2 days, 9 classes, and a whole lot of magic. I'll be talking about the goddess Oshun. There are other ladies who will be sharing a nice little lineup now that I think about it. I'll just show y'all real quick. Okay, so my phone is just really, I don't know what I've been doing with my phone today. There we go. Yeah, we're going to have numerology, mediumship, embodying the full. Hey, Felicia, the fool's journey. Hi, Eileen. How are you? Palmistry. T spells for manifestation using crystals and magic. We're going to have a little bit of dance and movement. Devotional poetry workshop. Oh, I must have left something on. Working with the maiden goddess Oshun. Tarot cards that scare us and how to work with fear. It's the Cauldron of Wisdom, okay? I have not done my part. Wise Woman Witchery Teachable.com. I'm going to put this in the link of this video once I finish making it. Hello, everybody who's there. Oh my gosh, people are here. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. The sister Felicia had her solar return. Okay, so I have been talking to some women who are a little bit behind me in the journey into perimenopause. They're younger than me, and but they're starting to really feel the effects of perimenopause. 2 of them are younger than me, and one of them is a little older than me. She's 54. I'm 52, and the other 2, maybe they're about 49, 48, 49. Yeah, 48, 49. And so I was telling them that it's very important for us to make sure that we understand one word that I offer to all the sisters. First and foremost, if you have your period and you feel like you ready for it to end, I'm just going to tell you how blessed and highly favored you are, especially if it's just a normal period. You don't have all this extra bleeding and everything. You are blessed and highly favored, honey, because let me tell you, I learned in perimenopause, woo, getting that cycle every month is such a good thing for our health. It makes life so easy, okay? Y'all give it up for the menstrual flow, okay? Well, of the women who are in this group, it's actually the youngest one who chimed in the hardest. Well, no, all of us chimed in now that I think about it, because they struggling. I'm like, y'all, I'm almost done. Once I get to the end of May, if June 1st, if I hit June 1st, woo, I have made it to menopause. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with these eclipses. Who knows? But, you know, I had mentioned, let me just say this before I talk about the youngest one of the group. She's the 5th one. I don't even know if she's 40. She might be 40. But anywho, I was telling them that the number one word for perimenopause is called acceptance. All right? It's acceptance. All right? It is accepting that you are not the same hormonal body that you were before you started hitting perimenopause. Because, baby, perimenopause is like, baby, we might be on, we might be off. You start feeling like, wait a minute, I don't know why I feel like so crazy. Did my period come late? Is it just me? I remember the first time I started feeling my period start skipping, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I'm not pregnant, but and my husband's like, I'm like, I am not pregnant, okay? This is called perimenopause, but I was starting to feel crazy. Or they were talking about feeling all the hot flashes, the weight issue. And I talked about how in this culture, it's very important to understand that we are overworked. We have way too much going on. And perimenopause is the time when our bodies, not for everybody, God is blessed if your period just stopped and that's just how it happened. It's a few people who I meet and I'm like, you lucky. You lucky. Because there's a lot of us out here. Sleepless nights. If you've been on my channel long enough, you saw me come on here weeping. I'll have to find that video and share it. Weeping, tears coming down my face because I am so distraught over what's happening to my body. But I started to accept. I have a different hormonal body and I must comply. And so, although, we come into our 40s and everybody's like talking about how liberated they are, they done made it, baby. Let me tell you what the 40s showed me. The 40s were like, baby, you better take care of yourself. You best to take care of yourself. And so, I was just telling them, you just got to accept you can't do what you used to do. When you accept that, perimenopause won't be hard. When you don't resist the discomfort of it, and I don't know why it does this to me. I forgot about that. So I don't know how much more I'm going to be coming on here. Anywho, I'm back. But yeah, no matter what, the 40s is a time of reckoning. The 40s is a time where your body starts saying, you will take care of me or you'll regret it. So I talked about another thing that is important is to not fall for this narrative about how, being young and strong and super interactive is just like the best way to show up as a woman. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my little thing. Hey. I just kicked my weight. I always get a little bit paranoid that y'all can't hear me because the microphone is at the bottom. I think the microphone is at the bottom of my phone. And so I want to put this, I think my hand heats it up and that's what makes it turn off. So I'm going to try to get it cooled off a little bit. This is what I should do anyway, y'all. Come on. So hopefully it will comply and not do crazy things. Don't do crazy things, phone. Do good things. Okay, so this is even better because I'm hands-free. But I was telling them, I was like, you really need to accept that it is not, like, it is good to age. It is good to get older. To be older is a blessing. And it comes with a certain responsibility. And don't fall for this thing of, like, when you start seeing yourself looking older and, you feel like you got to do a punk workout. Because all these ladies that I'm talking to, we are all fitness instructors. Fitness, yoga, bar, Pilates, HIIT workouts, all kinds of stuff. Water aerobics. We all teach fitness. We're all certified to teach fitness. And so I was like, y'all need to accept that it's okay if you have to now do a workout where you're not like killing it. I watch a friend, I just so badly want to say to her, because she's a little bit older than me. She owns a kickboxing place here in my city. And I just want to tell her, I've been noticing you're crumbling. And I'm going to tell you why you're crumbling, because you're doing a workout that doesn't match the physiology, the hormones of a 50-plus woman. We're different, and we have to learn this. Woo, sisters. The baby of the group, like I said, I don't even know if she's 40 yet. She chimes in. We didn't even know that she had like been in this whole meltdown thing. She said she had lost her health. She couldn't even go to work for months. Then she didn't get her fitness jobs back. And so now she's just in a complete healing mode. She's completely and totally healing. And she was doing the most. I have been doing the most. The one who's a little bit older than me, she was like, I told myself at 55, I'm done. And she said she was wondering, I'm 54. Why wait? I was like, look, let me tell you something. You need to tap out of all of that stress. And that's what I want to tell you all right now. Don't really care what your age is, but I want to tell you, this is important. You want to tap out of all that stress. And you want to tap into ease and flow. Maybe your stress that you tapped into is internal stress that you are creating for yourself. Maybe the stress that you're tapped into is this way of life that you have crafted for yourself. And so you can tap out of you can tap out of stress and tap into ease and flow. And one of the things she said, this lit her up. The baby of the group is what we call her. This lit her up. She said, not only do those of us in the Americas, she's in Canada, have not PMS. I do think maybe PMS, but perimenopause and menopause is because we are overworked and undervalued. And the wise woman is not honored. See, once we begin to get to this age, even in the 40s, you start realizing, wait a minute, I'm starting to catch on, especially the deeper you get into the 40s. It's just like life, you just start figuring out some things in life that perhaps you never could figure out before. And it's a blessing. It is such a blessing to age, to be an elder. How many of us are like, I need an elder? How many of us are like that, right? And so we want to begin to take this narrative of what it means to age, to get older, means you take care of yourself, whatever that means. It really should be that way for 20-somethings and 30-somethings. Even early 40s, you're getting away with a lot in your early 40s. For me, it was mid 40s. Once I hit 44, 45, I was like, wait a minute, something is changing. And so I've noticed it with so many people, that's when stuff starts kicking in. And our biggest issue is stress. We need to start doing this early on. But for all the 40, the 50, the 60s, let me tell y'all, we need to tap out that stress, tap out of it so that we can tap in to ease and flow. And so the younger one is saying how much healthier she is, how much happier she is. She's finally healing up and she's starting to live and do and be and work the things that she wants. And I think this is such a great example of the goddess-centered lifestyle. When we start saying, I'm living according to what my body needs, I'm living according to, what feels good. And I just want to say to you all, I often feel like we think, no, I can't sleep. I got to stay cocked and ready, like my friend's mama used to say. And I'm telling y'all, it is not necessary. Our ancestors, they have paid the price for us, especially as Afro sisters, for all of the women of color, for women, period. We have been paid for. And we do our ancestors more service and more justice walking in abundance. We don't even have to have like some high glam job. We just want to be sure that we have a job that helps us to provide for ourselves, helps us to be able to do some things that we enjoy, but it doesn't have to be high glam. We just need to be well taken care of, whatever that looks like for us. We need to tap out of the stress. We need to tap out of the narrative of what it means to be an older woman, what it means to be a woman. And we need to tap into ease and flow. The ease and flow of Yemoja. The ease and flow of Oshun. Even the ease and flow of the gentle breeze of Oya. That we don't need it all hard. We don't need this. What we need is to love ourselves, to care for ourselves. So I'm just asking y'all, tap into the ease and the flow. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I gotta go all the way back. Hey, Peg. Hey, Ashley. Oh, yes, we are the natural Ebo. Yes, spiritually, the power we have in our wombin goddess to self-cleanse and be that to our husbands is deep. It is to be respected. Ashe. Oh, peace, Mystic Storm. Yes, we are the natural Ebo because even our blood flow, our moon flow is Ebo. That's what I've always used for Ebo. And for me, that's what we do in the goddess tradition. I'll say it that way. So I don't bring in no other tradition because I don't want to hear from all of the people who disagree with me. Even if that phase is past, for some, they are still connected to source, pulling from that feminine goddess power. I wish I could highlight that comment. So many different levels to our cycles. It's fascinating how our body speaks to us. Yes, yes. Ease and flow. I've tapped out of the stress. I feel so much calmer now. I love that, Ashley. It's a natural process. We have to learn to navigate through the rites of passage, is what I'm hearing. Asheo. Yes. Yes. Calm and ease. Love it. Good. So, yes, I just want to implore you all. I want you to know that and I was actually a little bit perturbed. I was in a I want you to know that we get to choose the narrative by which we live. And one thing that I have said once I understood what the mission was for me of perimenopause was anyone who follows a woman who knows how to navigate perimenopause and menopause, you will live a life of ease and flow. You will live a healthy life. But it's this notion of, I used to get so irritated. I mean, I was like there doing all the high intensive workouts. HIIT training is important for us at this age, yes, but like hour-long workouts, lifting heavy all the time and stuff. I used to be cardio like crazy, working out all the time. I've been there. Although I was always the type who was like, baby, I'm using 5-pound weights. Oh, I would get laughed at. I would get laughed at. But baby, I got to a size 8 one time in my adult life. Once with 5-pound weights. 5-pound weights. So I always did kind of lean towards like, what can like, I don't feel like I got to do all that. I just don't. Weight bearing exercises always have worked for me. But there is this thing where we all get kind of caught up. It could be in yoga, it can be in anything, where it's like, man, I don't want to be like light. I gotta go hard, and you just gotta do it like be all in and hoorah, hoorah, in order to like lose the weight and to be like a real type of workout person, right? Let me tell you, if you still have your moon flow, and it's pretty normal, you're not at perimenopause, there are different ways to work out based on where you are in your moon flow. Even the 20 and 30 somethings, 40 somethings who still have a regular moon flow, when you are ovulating, there's one type of exercise that goes with that. When you are menstruating, it's something else that goes with that. Then there's a phase that's where you can get a little bit more active. Even the 20 something should not be doing the same thing all of the time. Breastfeeding moms who have new babies. What? Pregnant women. What? Women who've had surgeries of some sort, who've had some trauma happen to their body. They don't need all that. Might need a little walk. All women should walk. So it's important to know. Another thing about 50 plus women that I've noticed, it's more 50 plus than anything, is when I was younger, I would say, wow, they take really good care of themselves. It's because they have to. We have to. I don't know why I'm saying they, because I'm right here, 52. And so again, Step into ease and flow. It's why you see a lot of 50 pluses doing that. The ones that don't, trust me, they are suffering. Do we have to take care of ourselves? Ease and flow is a way of thinking and being, and it's like I'm not going to be getting all excited. I'm not doing all that. When we are at this age doing that, we probably are going to pay for it in some kind of way. So I'm just saying, don't do it. When we are in ease and flow, we will get up, we will go take our walk, we will put ourselves in some type of way of being every day so that we can take care of ourselves. We're present to our needs. We're active. We're moving. You know, sometimes people say to me, and it's hard for me to believe this because I look at myself like I look so different, even from my late 40s. You don't look like you're in your 50s. And I remember sometime before the pandemic, maybe when I was about 49 or so, me and my friend, she would have been 47 at the time. We were just showing out and, you know, just acting up, having fun or whatever. And both of us started doing like all these yoga moves, postures. And there was like a 30 something there, like, I can't believe y'all are doing this. Like, wow, I'm impressed. And I'm like, we were like, what? We do all of that. All right. Even the 60 plusers, you're not going to put them in no old granny category if they don't want to be. We still young and all that kind of good stuff. And we understand the importance of being in ease and flow. And when we don't, we pay. But if everybody else follows us, then you're going to be fine. So tell me what y'all are thinking. Are you putting yourself in ease and flow? Or are you, let me see here. Glad y'all had a good birthday. Okay. Let's see here. What else? Y'all see my phone is doing better. I am open to receive this divine message. Putting myself in ease and flow for sure. Yes. This is why we need to have generational gatherings. Yes, peaceful one. We want to have multi-generational gatherings. Like, I love hanging out with young people because they still are so, you know, what's the word? Not all of them are super optimistic. These young people are pessimistic because life has been rough on them. Like, I grant them a lot of grace, but there's something still like magical about them. The maiden, the maiden energy is, even on the most beat down one, they still have something about them that's just beautiful. And they still have hopes and dreams, And then when you hang out with the 30 plusers, they're more grounded. And they're the ones that are like, okay, give me some advice. I need some help. Because they've lived life a little bit. And now they're like, you know what, maybe I should listen to the old folk about a few things, But like for me, I always say, people in my generation, for me, and let me not speak for everybody, I love millennials. I know millennials get such a bad rap. But I love hanging out with the millennials because, I don't know, they keep me like, I feel sort of like they won't let me fall behind too much. They're going to keep me on my toes and keep me in the know and the flow or whatever. And then, the 40 plusers, and they are like my little sisters. The 60 plusers are my big sisters. But my point is, I get something from every level. They're like, I don't know what it means to be a grandma yet. And there's some 40 plusers that know this, right? I don't know what it means to be a grandma yet. Or, it's other things that people who are older than me, they understand. And it's important for the younger people, even though a lot of times younger people are looking at the older people like, these people are losers. They don't even know what they're doing. And this is so weird. It's still important for them to see it so that when they get here, they won't feel like nobody told them what's going on. What the hell is going on? Which is how I have felt. Why didn't nobody tell me this, right? I'm going to give y'all some real talk. For those who no one is told, perimenopause, the hot flashes, I used to get ill with my hot flashes. Those have moved on since I've moved closer to menopause. I did the skipping, like I might skip one or two, and then I'd skip 2 or 3 cycles, and then it became more like 6 months go with that one. And while it was nice, what did I sacrifice? I sacrificed my estrogen. That's the sacrifice of going into this phase where we're not making babies anymore. And so, with the sacrifice of my estrogen, that meant I had to watch what I eat because estrogen helps to break down carbs. I had to watch what I ate more. That's why I say, don't be wishing your period leaves. Just deal with it. It's a blessing, okay? That's some power, okay? Um, my body started changing. I lost my muscle tone and everything. I had to change the way that I was working out. My sleep was disrupted. I started feeling like after you have a new baby, for those of us who've had a baby, and you're up all night long and you just start saying, who cares about sleep? Like, sleep? Does that really matter? And so I just was so miserable. I would wake up and I couldn't go back to sleep. Um, and I was sad and I was depressed at times, and I felt misunderstood. Like nobody cares, nobody understands what I'm going through. I don't have anybody to talk to. I talked to a few older women, but nobody like I could just call and cry and cry and cry. And my friends were behind me, so they're all like, we don't even know what to say. We see you, So I'm grateful for that. And then all of a sudden, something happened. And honestly, I was telling my fitness friends what had happened was the pandemic hit, and I said, I'm not going back to teaching dance and fitness. That's where I went too far. That was creating so much stress. I was tapped into stress, baby. I would not tap out of that stress. But when the pandemic came, I was like, tap out, tapping into ease and flow. And, I started the pandemic. The whole world shut down about a week after my birthday. It was starting to shut down as my birthday happened. So, yeah, I think I'm going to keep claiming 50 for a little while since I didn't get to properly celebrate my 50th birthday. But that's neither here nor there. I said for my 50th birthday, I'm going to do Manifestation Babe Academy. I did that. And in there is when I started learning more and more about like tapping. That's what sold me on tapping. And because I hadn't heard about tapping like in 2006, but I was like, I don't know if this stuff is working. I'm not quite sure about this tapping. But that one is when I really got sold on the tapping, getting back into journaling, like all this self-care stuff, and getting myself in a place of feeling safe. This is ease and flow. This is another reason why ease and flow is so important, is we feel safe. And when we feel safe, we can see possibility. We can see what is the mother leading us to do. We can hear from our ancestors of light and our guides. And more than anything, we trust ourselves. This is so important. When we're tapped into stress, it's difficult to believe in yourself. When you're tapped into ease and flow, you will trust yourself. You will trust your voice. You will trust the wise woman within you. And so, doing all of that, that's when things actually started shifting. And I just started noticing I'm not having all these hot flashes anymore. And yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. It was so, it was so gradual that I don't exactly remember when I was finally like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not having a lot of hot flashes. The wintertime, I had fewer hot flashes. If a hot flash came, I would run outside and open the door when it was cold and let the cold would just like make it just go away. Or I began to realize, have a glass of ice cold water with me at all times. And when I would have a hot flash, I just start drinking the water. A lot of times we get the brain freeze. With those hot flashes, I drink it and I would just feel the hot flash subside. And I began to realize that most of my hot flashes got triggered by stress. I used to say, I think I'm allergic to stress. So all of a sudden, the symptoms started going away. Occasionally, I have a hot flash. I might get a little bit hot and have to get a little fan. but I've learned how to dress. It's one of the reasons I always have on tank tops, right? Well, then they don't tell you, and tell me if your mama told you about this, because my mama wasn't around to tell me about this. I can't stand the extra little hair. It's like you have this little fuzz. I never used to understand when I would see that. And I never really related it to older women, because I know some women, they're just born hairy. But there's like this light little baby fuzz that comes up on our faces. Why? Bye bye, estrogen. Our estrogen levels drop so much. And then the other thing that I've noticed is, like, I remember the first time I found like a hair like right here on my cheek, I was just like horrified. I was like, nobody thought to freaking tell me that this was gonna happen. Okay. And of course, I'm not looking for that because I never had that happen to me before. I'm not super hairy. And then one day I discovered, I don't even know how I discovered it. What, I'm constantly like doing stuff, looking at my face and stuff. And I noticed a hair somewhere here on my ear, maybe like right in there. I was like, oh my gosh. I use tweezers, or sometimes here, like for years, I've had like one right here, maybe one right here. And it takes forever for them to grow out and for me to notice them. So I had the tweezers and that's it. It's easy. Easy like Sunday morning, right? Woo! When I started seeing them here and here, I think I've had one over here. I was like, nobody thought to tell me this. So y'all can't say I didn't tell y'all. For the record, I am trying to let the sisters know. If you got a period, give thanks for it. Because perimenopause is a trip. But on this side of perimenopause, where I'm so close to menopause, I'm starting to get to that point where I have to be very measured in how I eat, but I can get to that place where I can get my weight to come down. The part that y'all have seen me on the last year or so, really get into acceptance of my metabolism lives on the outside of my body, which means I must exercise daily. And I have to do what Melissa Neal said. I gotta do these weights, baby. She has me doing all kinds of weights, burning my muscles. I only lose weight when I move a little bit. I gotta get my feet going, and I work my muscles. The joys of womanhood, okay? And it's easier. All of this has been easier for me when I decided to tap out of stress and to tap into ease and flow. Ah, thank you, Ashley. Not gonna let me fall behind. Me, hey, 30s. I'm 33 and I'm always seeking knowledge and wisdom from other women and elders. This is very helpful. Taking notes. Very, very good. I don't wish my period away at all. It's a blessing. Asheo for Ashley and Peg. Nice. My mother didn't say a word to me. Rest her soul. Yeah. My mom was fighting for her life. So, she was only 50 when she died. So I'm in uncharted territory. But I got aunts. I have a cousin. My cousin told me when her period had ended, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. Ashley said, you told us and I heard. Yes. Yes. Ease and flow is a safety security feature for us on this plane, which allows us to tap in. It really is, Peg. I feel like you're explaining how to be a woman in the dimension. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. My experience was so different. Maybe because my cycle was irregular and difficult. Yes. Yeah, it is different for everybody, Felicia. You're welcome, Ashley. It is different for everybody. And this is probably one of the reasons it's important to talk, because if you had a difficult cycle all the time and it was irregular, then your story needs to be told so that women who are more like you, because I had a very normal flow, can your story needs to be heard. Somebody's going to relate to what you have talked about. And yeah, even your menopausal time is important to share. Because I'm going to tell y'all, Dr. Christine Northrup, I have never read her book, probably never will. There's something about that woman that I'm like, I'm not sure. But we need to start writing our own books. We need to be creating these catalogs of, womanly wisdom. So, like, the teenagers need to be writing their books for the little girls who are coming behind them. And then 20-somethings should be writing it for the ones who are coming behind them. You could talk to the little girls as well as to the pubescent girls. The 30-plusers need to be writing for the ones who come before them. And then the 40-plusers need to be writing for the 30-plusers. I am doing my part to talk to the women who are behind me so that, we just don't have proper rites of passage. So we just got to figure it out, and we need to make it relevant. Those of us in the United States or in the Americas, we may not do well listening to somebody from Cuba or Dominican Republic, where they're eating food very different from us. Their lifestyle is so different, and they may not go through all of this. That's what I was telling you. I had stopped saying it. I got so irritated in this one group that I was in, where they were like, we don't experience this. This is just, what's in the United States or in the Americas. It's just, not all women are going through this. And I'm like, yeah, but I am. So don't negate it, and don't make me sound like I'm a loser because I am struggling with perimenopause. Because that was something else that I try to let the sisters know. Until you get here, you really don't understand it. And it's not even just about the body, it's the mindset. Like, when I tell y'all how much crying I have done since I became an empty nester, this has been one of the hardest seasons of my life, because I'm not exactly old. Trust and believe, the old folk, they don't let you get old. That is theirs to claim. Even the 60-plusers, I don't think they get to be old. Maybe a little bit, but the 80-plusers will check the 60-plusers. Trust me. But I'm not exactly young. My body is different. I've, started going through the perimenopause in my 40s. My children are gone. I'm having career changes, and how many of us get to this age and want to do something different? And then you got to figure out, how do you show up in the world? How do you show up and be somebody who knows something but isn't looked at as like, I'm not a boomer, but folks ain't gonna be saying, hey boomer, thank you boomer, or whatever, which I'm not, but it's in that vein. It's kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, I love the 30-plusers. Y'all listen so much more. The 40s, y'all got me. Y'all love me, 50s, y'all love me too. But yeah, it's not easy. It's a whole mind thing. So I'm gonna tell y'all this, and then I'm gonna look at the comments. But the other thing that I found in my research, my perimenopausal research, is that the Japanese consider, once we hit menopause, to be our second spring in life. And I am telling y'all, that's how I'm experiencing it, as my second spring. As I sweat, but I'm really hot. I don't like the heat being on. It's very hot in here. And I'm like, oh my God. I tell my family all the time, when I start sweating like this, I'm detoxing. But we're in our second spring of life. And that is what it feels like to me. I'm not old. I'm not young, but I'm still young enough that I feel like, sometimes when I'm hearing people of my age talking about how old we are, I'm like, shut up. We are not old. We are not old, okay? Astrologically, 52 is a magical number. Felicia, how was 52 for you? I'm curious. I'm going to start doing research. 40 and 52 are very similar ages. I so love being 52. This has been so much fun. Okay, let me see. But we're at second spring of life. You have something to look forward to. Okay. Ease and flow, yes. I remember my mom crying when I left home. I ran out the door, but this is really giving me some insight, even how I see my mom and what she felt in that phase she went through. It's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever experienced in my life. I when I tell you the deep cries, and it's not that we want our children to stay with us because we know it's the right thing to do. It's we get so used to being connected in a certain way, and it just gets severed one day, you know. And we know it's coming, but it just gets severed. And okay, so another thing that I will say I can't stand, and this is something that I'm learning in this certification that I'm going through. It has all to do with doing women's work, going in a circle, and you know, women coming together and supporting one another. And that is, we need to do a better job of hearing one another, not needing to give feedback. And I think that that would make it easier for everybody. You know, like the struggles I had when I was a mom. Now, I did not become a mom until I was in my 30s, but I hung out with the 20-plussers at the time, you know. All this comparison, like you can say your child is doing something and then somebody's got to compare their child to your child. It was rampant in the homeschool community also. Or how, if you are the kind of mom, this is me giving my opinion, other moms need to speak up and they can share theirs. But for me, I love my children. And so I have emotions about my children, and I don't want my emotions negated. Or I don't want to hear this crap about, oh, you're going to make him a mama's boy because I didn't have girls. You're going to make him a mama's boy, you know, if he's hanging out with me too much. Or, you know, I'm like, he's little. Like, that's what little people do. Like girls, boys, whatever, they hang out with their moms and their dads, you know, they close to their family, right? Or like when it was time for like I'm trying to process, oh my gosh, my children are about to leave home. My last son especially, my older son, it was a little harder. But then I looked at my younger son and I was like, would you get all of me now, you know? And then when he left last year, on that way, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, you know, I don't know what to think, and I'm sad and blah blah blah. And you will get shut down by some women when in my circles, whenever I do my new moon circles, which I hope that y'all will come to my next new moon circle, we do what's called beaming. And so if a mom were to say, I'm having a really rough day right now with my children, things are not going well, I feel like a terrible mom. What does this say? I see you and I hear you, and I honor your experience. That's all we need to say. That's all we need to say. Okay? Because the answers lie within us. And we can just be kind. Yes. Oh, thank you, Eileen. I have to give it some thought. 52, 7 years ago, my boys were teens, busy, stressful, rough times. Yes, well, I get that. Yeah, I get that. It is hard at the end when they're so busy. It really is. Oh my gosh. I used to just think, breathe, Tyra. Just breathe. I did so much personal development sitting there waiting for them to do their stuff too. Like my older son was into Taekwondo. And this is another thing. My sons did not want to drive in high school. Both of them drove once they graduated. I hear that all the time because I hold my babies, love on them. Even at my job, all I hear is, don't hold them, her. You will spoil them. I'm like, your baby is 2 hours old. Hold your baby. You are so right. I had the same thing happen to me, Peg. And what I'm going to tell you is this. There's this book called Our Babies, Ourselves that I read with after maybe right at the beginning. I don't know if I read it before or right at the beginning of him being born. And it talked about, what's that word? IBE. Archaeological. They looked at the archaeological, not archaeological, it's another word I think I'm thinking about. But they were looking at babies across cultures and across time. So maybe it is archaeological, but they were looking at like what is the biology of babies, human babies. And the ancient women, they carried their babies and they breastfed their babies. And part of the reason they slept with their babies was, you had to sleep with your baby back then, right? And how the philosophy of the way people are with their children, and this was the thing that they were really driving home, is how cultural so much of that is. It's very cultural. And so this culture of independence, yeah, this is what they teach. And it's other cultures that do other things. The mothers, they are led to believe this is what we do, this is what's good, or, this is how we do it. But the question in this book was, what really is it that babies really need biologically? How do they develop? And so just because people have babies doesn't mean they really understand child development. And what this book explains, using more of like, it's not science as in like biology or whatever. It's like I said, the archaeology, I think of it. I can't remember. Anywho, this is what babies are programmed to desire and want in their lives. This is what their expectations are. Though they can't give it to you. Biologically, babies expect to be held because a human baby cannot fully develop inside of its mom. The first 9 months of a baby's life is gestational. It's gestational. And so that's why all these carriers have become so popular. They were not popular when I had my children. They were just coming onto the scene. I was a little bit of a weirdo carrying my baby in a sling. But I knew they needed to stay close to me. They needed to stay on me. They needed to be held either by me or whoever was caring for them, which the only other person was my mother-in-law. And she was going to hold them all day long. She wasn't the type was like, you better put your baby down. But that's what babies come expecting. And babies come expecting, they come expecting to be nursed. They come expecting to co-sleep, to be in arms for the first 2 years of life. And so we just have to accept our culture may tell us to do one thing, but our biology, we want to listen to our biology and conform with the baby's biology. And so, yeah, these are things that we need to start sharing with more moms. And I just decided, because I was a La Leche League leader, a childbirth educator, I began to realize it doesn't pay to argue. I'm just looking for the people who are looking for what I have. Every mama has the right to nurse or do with her baby what she wants to do. I don't judge. I don't judge. But same for young girls. Young girls we need proper rites of passages for these young girls. I love seeing all these little girls, especially little brown girls, who are coming on, their moms are posting them and they're like, I have a voice of my own. And, they're just so confident. I'm going to tell y'all this. I used to teach Zumba kids at this preschool for my nonprofit. And I noticed that little brown girls in general, some of them, let me not say all of them, some of them are extremely vivacious. They are alpha females. They are born that way. But it's not like, I guess because I understand them, I didn't take it personally, but it's a strength about these little girls that I began to notice. Some of them are shy, but a lot of them, they have a groundedness. And these were little girls from the USA and from different Afro cultures, because this school was very diverse. It was like the little United Nations. It was something about the melanated little girls. And I was like, I can see how people try to dim our little girls' lights. And so having proper rites of passages to keep our little girls intact is important. I say for all little girls, I love children. I would never treat one child better than the other. And so I just love all children and did my best. And some of the little, little vanilla Euro girls, they were little divas. I have to check them a little bit. Anywho, teenagers, they have a whole different chemistry. We need to honor that. We really need to honor that teenagers are different, and the 20 somethings, honor where they are, and at the same time do our best to set them up so they need to be out there experimenting and learning and figuring out who they are. We don't want them to be fitting within a mold, though we do want them to have a strong foundation. It's a lot we need to talk about. It's a lot we need to talk about. And we need to begin to cultivate. And little girls, they are sweet. This thing of women bashing women, the sister wound, all of that, that thing right there is bred. Okay, it's bred in us. It's in the ethers. And we have to begin to grab up our little ones and begin to explain to them that the goddess way is collaboration over competition. And we need to grab up the mean girls and start saying, nope, we're going to help you channel your energy in a different way. Would you like to take a taekwondo class? Do you need to go get on the softball team? What do we need to do to end this mean girl thing, and to help us understand maybe you having a bad hormonal day, so we're going to help you cultivate some skills for dealing with that, so that as we get older, they're really just trying to figure out who they are. They're not like getting so beat up or taking on some false narrative of I need to look a certain way in order to be something special when they're in their 20s. The 30s, they just trying to figure it out. Once folks get to the 30s, they're like, all right, for real. Like, seriously, we serious about life. I want to know who I am. I want to get on point. I want to heal. And so 30s, we're like, the one thing that I'll say about 30s that I feel bad about, they can be so doubtful because now they realize, okay, I've made some choices that may have landed me in a spot that I don't want. Can I trust myself? I feel like I'm off course. I'm not certain. And so with the 30s, we just have to kind of help them understand, get your astrological reading, pull out your tarot deck, whatever you're using, and use that. Stop walking around here and all this doubt. Doubt and worry were like rampant. I remember my 30s thinking, who said the 30s was so super liberated? I know I feel a little bit more grown up, but dang, I am so confused. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yes, humans need touch. Babies will die without it. Exactly, Felicia. You are all they know. I wonder why it is like this in our culture. It is definitely, I feel like, a game that has been played. Like, some powers that be knew this is how we will control the masses. Get the mamas separated from these babies as quickly as possible. It's a bunch of crap. Like, it's just not. Felicia said, I wore my son strapped to my chest until they were too heavy. I love that, Felicia. Ashley says to Peg, you're the MVP. Tell them to hold those babies. I've noticed psychological issues with babies who aren't held, especially after birth. Yes, they can actually go psychological issues. I remember seeing something about children who weren't touched. Like, they can become very psychologically damaged. Felicia, my 19-year-old, still sits in my lap. My 19-year-old loves hugging me. Humans need touch, yes. I read they have a harder time learning how to process emotions and connect when you neglect and push them away when they are crying. And it's in the subconscious mind. It's one of the reasons I'm so into the subconscious right now, is because our subconscious mind remembers everything. And if it's unresolved, that baby could have been like, so confused. Like, why is nobody answering my cry? And I can't handle it. Shut down, stop crying, into the subconscious mind. But now it's a storyline. Now it's some type of program. And so, yeah, my goal is to teach them how to cope with their emotions and to avoid them. Yes. Yes. Give Peg an award. My daughter was the same way. She didn't want all the foolish. She was very independent and self-aware. Beautiful, Eileen. That's because she was raised by a good mama. I guess I didn't realize this was going on in our culture. I grew up with very nurturing women. I always saw women kissing and holding their children. That's beautiful. Yeah. It's a disconnect for a lot of people. My mother was very loving. I chose to hang out with people who made those choices, and people who tried to tell me to spank my children wasn't gonna do it. I was like, yeah, we'll have to talk about something else. I wish I would have spent more time loving on my son instead of working so much. I also didn't know how to give love, so my son is already disconnected from people. Perhaps something will happen, because I do subscribe to people will get to that point where they're like, what's going on? And so tell him to get some hypnosis if he listens to you, Virgo Bliss. That will help. Or NLP, or anything that can help to remove whatever that program that is there, because that's all it is. And he can open himself up to experiencing more connection and, touch. So yeah, my mother had a lot of regrets too. I'm not gonna lie. She didn't breastfeed us, and she regretted it, which is probably why I breastfed forever. Because my mom was like, make sure you breastfeed your babies. She sort of was like you too, Virgo Bliss. She would say things like, I wish that I hadn't worked so much. Like, I remember my mom, she was a nurse, and she would work on the weekends. And the year she decided she wasn't working on the weekends anymore was, I said something to her. She asked me to do something, and I was like, why are you telling me to do this? You're never here. And I never talked like that. I remember I never used to talk like that to my mom. I was a very compliant, obedient, respectful child. But it was just frustrating not having my mom home. And so, yeah, when I said that, she was like, Monday through Friday. She started working Monday through Friday. She still worked a lot on the weekends as we got older. But at that point, she did work from home more. I mean, she worked Monday through Friday instead of the weekends, because I think she made more money on the weekends, and our family needed the money, and we did struggle a lot because she didn't do that. But every mom does the best she can given what she has. Every mom does. And so we'll just hold space for your son, that he, he'll get that. We've been through a lot of disappointment in the last 2 years, and he's grown numb. I understand totally. I'm trying to help fix it. I don't want him like my brothers. Good for you. Good for you. It will work, Mama, because you have changed your energy. You want me to tell you something I started doing too? With the timeline techniques that I've learned in NLP, I now will take myself to pivotal points that I remember where I'm like, ooh, that may have been a mama fail right there. And I'll go back to that moment on that timeline, and I release my emotion, and hoping that I have created a new timeline from the past that now me and my son are on, and maybe that will help him, whichever one it is, to maybe not have something that I created for them in my moment of, maybe it was anger, frustration. I was a very depressed mom. So yeah, sometimes I feel a little guilty about that. And I'll just go back to the moments when I feel like I was the most guilty and like the least connected mom. And do my best to release whatever was in me at that time, hoping that it will in some kind of way impact him. Because we really can't create in other people's lives unless they allow us to. So, yeah, I'm all of that to say it's so possible. So possible. My 24 and 21-year-old stay kissing on and hugging on me. Ah, she's saying they're too big now. And they'll apply pressure and laugh. Ah, I love being a mother. Yes. I love that. So, yeah, as usual, I come on thinking I don't have anything to talk about. But just to circle back, and I've been wanting to have these conversations about womanhood topics. That's part of the goddess-centered lifestyle is we do need to have these conversations. But just remember my main message was we need to tap out of the stress so that we can tap into ease and flow. And the more we walk in ease and flow, the more we are able to manifest whatever it is that we desire. So don't forget this weekend, and I know I'm doing a lot of call to actions. No, he's in his room doing his hair. I noticed he said something about him medicating a couple of times, so he's catching on to what I'm doing. Oh, is that good? Oh, meditating. Oh, yes, meditating. Yes, Virgo Bliss. Yes, we hold space for the young prince who is the son of Virgo Bliss. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And we hold space for him and his healing and him walking in his truth and his power and his knowing that he is divinity in a body and that he is here for a purpose. And that whatever has happened to him, it will just become compost for him to have as rich resources as he moves through his life. We're so grateful for his healing, for Virgo Bliss's healing. And we just give thanks to the ancestors of light, all of the Orisha, for just surrounding him and holding him and letting him know how much he's loved and him being able to have this connection with his mom, a deeper connection. He already has a connection, but a deeper connection to his mom and other people. And we say, Asheo, Asheo, and so it is. So, Ashe. So I'm going to show y'all this again. The Cauldron of Wisdom. I am going to be speaking at this. And I'm going to put this link in the chat. I don't know if it looks, I don't really know. It looked like it was not clear. And I'm going to, what am I going to do? So I know I've been calling these new moon workshops and circles, but we're going to have what is called a retreat to reset. A retreat to reset at the new moon, retreat to reset. And this upcoming new moon in Taurus, which is an eclipse moon, is definitely a time to reset. So I hope that you all will consider joining me for the new moon mini retreat. And we're calling this a retreat to reset. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. So much love. So much love. Uh-huh. Yep. This is another example of what I'm talking about, y'all. That Virgo Bliss has been completely open and honest about what's going on with her son and what have we done. We were like, oh, we're getting ready to circle up. All right. We're getting ready to circle up for our baby. We don't even know Virgo Bliss's real name. We don't know her son's name at all. Don't matter. Circle up, everybody. We're getting ready to touch and agree. When the goddesses come in together and they touch and agree, whatever it is will not be denied. It is so. It is so. This is the power. This is the power of women. This is the power of the feminine energy, the power that comes through our wombs. This is how we do it, all right? Ashley and Eileen, come on. I need y'all to cue up the music. This is how we do it. Yes, community. Mm, mm, mm. I feel so good. My name is Bliss. Your name is Bliss. Okay. Virgo Bliss is like, no, my name is Bliss. I love it. Yes, Eileen, goddess centered living. We bring back the ancient into the modern day. You know why? Because our babies are counting on us. Our babies, like Blisses, they're counting on us. We don't have to know anybody. And she's a Virgo. Okay. That was such a cool name. I just thought you were making up like this really cool name. So now I know your name is Bliss. Oh my God, what a cool name. Um, so yeah, anybody else have anything they need us to touch and agree on? Just drop it into the chat. Anybody else? We call on the energy of the ancient mothers. We are so grateful that y'all are awakening so many of us. We hear you and we remember. We may not remember all the details, but we will listen. I shall. So I'll just wait another few moments to see. Does anybody have? Hey, Frey. How are you? Free Hall. I'm going to say Free Hall. Yes, that is such a beautiful name. I had that talk with a coworker today. I do this for the ancestors, myself, my children, their children, and so on. Yes. You are so welcome, Felicia. Ashe. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. We hold space. We hold space. We see you. We love you. Alrighty, y'all. What time is it? 10:22 Central Time. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I gotta go to sleep. I worked on the mini retreat for the new moon today. I'm so excited about this mini retreat. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about what it means, but it'll be in a master class that's attached. The live class is gonna be largely about like cultivating ourselves to be ready for whatever the change is that is coming and that we'll be able to embrace it. And I created this beautiful hypnosis on abundance for it. So I'm excited. Good, Eileen. Yes, Eileen will be there. Several of y'all are registered to come. I need to start promoting it a little bit more. Tax season caught me up, and then I've just been catching up all week. So I'll make sure I put that link in the description box also. So y'all rest well. Love you all so very much. The date is Tuesday, April 26th. Eileen said these lives are getting good. The other thing I want you to know is that if you don't attend live, there will be a replay, even though live is so wonderful. But you can do the retreat. You can do the reset, retreat, the reset. Let me pull it up. It should be. My That's something else that I've gotten big on. I talk about these all the time. Bach flower remedies. So it doesn't say that on here because I haven't changed my graphic yet because I just came up with, me and April, we just came up with the mini retreat. But if you go, I'll put it in the description box. If you go to my main website and you'll see where it talks about where I teach other classes, that's the link to get to this page right here. It's actually, if you go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, across the top, you'll see where it says the Taurus. It'll say all about Taurus, all about the Taurus eclipses. But I was like, I don't think people really understand what I'm doing. So let me call it a retreat, because that's more of what it's like. It's an experience. I'm not going to just be talking at you. Like the last time we had breakout sessions, I do energy work, meditation. You have recorded meditations that will go with it also, and hypnosis tracks. That's what I've been working on tonight. Make sure y'all have a good hypnosis track. Um, there will be a mindfulness practice. Um, More than likely, it's about embracing change. Yes, an experience. Awesome. Yes, taking it to the next level. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm glad you said that too, Eileen. The other thing that I do is I make sure that we write out our intentions using language that the subconscious mind can use. So that's something else that I do in the mini retreat, the new moon mini retreat. So yeah, if the mini retreat is sort of like Wednesdays, except for it's a whole lot more. Yes, tap into the healing work. Tara's about that work, period. Eileen and I have made some great strides in her life. Like, I've seen Eileen literally do 180s for the better. Actually, all the ladies in my one-to-one coaching, it's beautiful to get to witness that when I get to work so intensively with somebody, and you see the highs and the lows. As a coach, I see the highs and the lows. Um, and it's hard when it's rough on them. It's hard. But then I think, well, I'm a coach, so my job is to I don't really try to fix people's problems, but to be that ear. Like I said, I see you, I hear you, I honor your experience, right? And sometimes there's a little bit of a blind spot, and I might ask a question or two just because I'm curious. Like, did you notice? Oh, Virgo Bliss said, just being in your lives are healing for me. Oh, I love that. Yes, the hypnosis track will be amazing. I plan on actually recording that tomorrow, free. I love hypnosis. I feel like combining that with power prayer, meditating, journaling, astrology, studying, walking has really helped me. That was Ashley, right? Yes, Ashley. I was going to tell people too. Well, this is something I often say. Let me not say I thought to say it tonight until I just read your comment. I tell everybody, if you really want to see this as you have to have a multi-pronged approach. So even when we go into the hypnosis world, people who do hypnosis will say, sometimes hypnosis doesn't cut it. It might help it, but they need something else. And so, we might do something like NLP. Maybe people need psychotherapy. But for me, I need hypnotherapy, NLP, journaling, tapping, and what was the other one I was going to say? NLP, mindfulness. I have to have all of those. If one misses, if I don't do one, it's like I just notice something starts getting off for me. I can do all the hypnosis in the world, but if I don't do mindfulness, I don't know. I just feel like I crumble when I don't do mindfulness. I'm actually on a 90-day mindfulness stretch right now. I'm going to do mindfulness for 90 days straight. When I don't journal, I feel like something is wrong. When I don't exercise, something is wrong. When I don't walk, or I like to rebound. I don't know if y'all can see my rebounder. That rebounder is my best friend. I want to get on it sometimes when I'm on here, but that might make folks like, that's too much, Tyra. Mindfulness, journaling, hypnosis. When I don't do hypnosis, I notice a difference. Tapping, when I don't tap, I notice a difference. And I'm like, man, you mean to tell me this is all I had to do all these years? And I resisted all of it except for maybe exercising. So, energy work. Oh, that's a good one. I do notice a difference when I don't tap on my meridians. The energy medicine, not just the EFT, but the actual energy medicine where we are like combining or, having our chakras communicate. I just feel bad, or maybe I feel extra snacky, or my stomach hurts. Um, yes, Virgo Bliss. I need to, they're all inside of my, when I have my inner circle. So I need to get those uploaded. I need to create some packages for the hypnosis. So I'm glad you said that. Yes. And if y'all have questions, let me know. I've been meaning to create a question and answer form. Um, I've been meaning to create a question and answer form. So y'all, if y'all have questions, I can come on here and answer them. But anytime I'm on here, if you have a question about something, let me know about hypnosis, subconscious mind, NLP. Um, yeah, I can help you. Hey, Natalia, how are you? Oh, Felicia, you know what? Breath work. That's really good. Breath work is key. The other day you told me to do breath work. It helped a lot. Um, yeah, I has turned my knob down so much. Oh boy. Yes, Virgo bliss. Yes, Eileen, I have the tools. Good, Natalia. Giving thanks. Um, oh, that's another one. Gratitude journaling. I have started doing that every day. I think I've talked about that. Now, I do like this suggestion too. There's a book called Calm Brain by Gayatri Devi, MD, is a game changer. She goes into the brain and calming it. That has been what has helped me quite a bit, understanding how the human brain works. There's two things I would tell you to learn about: hormones and the brain. Once I began to understand hormones, then I started noticing I could control my life more. And then understanding how the brain works, it took me even to the next level. Breath work is the most accessible tool and excellent for regulating emotions. It really is. It really is. Deep breathing. If you need to get energized, there's a way to do that. Drinking water makes all the difference in my life. I just feel so happy when I drink water. I used to be the type of person who says, oh, I don't like drinking water. And I can regress to that, some days, but I don't know. I just feel so much better when I drink water. It makes me feel lush on the inside. So I try to drink a lot of water every day. This helps also with mood. I love y'all so much. Oh my gosh. I'm supposed to get off and I can't. She talked about inversion poses and inversion tables. Being upside down calms the brain tremendously. I bend over and let my head hang at my knees. Ooh, I love that. I used to like, well, I'm not used to, I still do like it, but I'm gonna have to start this again, Ashley. Laying on the bed or on the floor on a mat and putting my legs up the wall. Oh, when I was pregnant, that was like, did I do that when I was pregnant? Maybe I didn't do that when I was pregnant. It was some point when I was like, oh gosh, this is so wonderful. Because maybe it was, but I would bend my knees or something, but I just would feel my legs draining. Healing in my heels. Eileen, that's a book. That's a workshop. Yes. All right. Well, let me tell y'all another thing about 50 plus women. We realize when it's time to get sleep, it's time to get sleep. And then we go to bed. There's this one guy that went to Morehouse. He puts on there, y'all, I ain't like I used to be. I used to hang out all the time. He was like, shoot, I'm trying to go home and go to sleep now at 52. Ah. Yes, that's amazing and great for the heart to hold up your legs. Okay. I'm really going to do that now, Virgo Bliss, now that you mentioned the heart. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I will as soon as I see this pop up in my YouTube feed, I'm going to stay up long enough to do that, to put the link to the Witch's Cauldron, the Wise Woman Cauldron, and to my mini retreat. If you want to come to my virtual mini retreat next week, the Retreat to Reset, then let a sister know. I'm gonna have to turn on the AC. Felicia said facts, sleep. See, Felicia said she's 7 years older than me, so when my older sisters say yes, this is true, I'm like, y'all, it's true. Listen, she said it's true. Yay. Okay, I will put it in the link. It won't be there right away because sometimes it takes a minute for these videos to show up, but as soon as I see it, you will see that link in there. Join me. I would love, love, love to have you next Tuesday in the Retreat to Reset. Mwah. All right, y'all rest well. I'll see. Yes, Ashley will be there. Eileen will be there. See y'all tomorrow. I'll be here. All right, peace and love.